Greetings, humans. Me, Bob Harris, senior editor of FootballDiehards.com. Time for the Week 10 injury review, preview, update, overview. The thing we like to do every Saturday to get you up to speed and help you figure out what kind of lineup decisions you might be facing if you've been away all week or haven't been able to follow along closely. This will set the table. It will not complete the meal, though. You're going to have to follow up. Things will change right up through tomorrow's various kickoffs. So this will get you an understanding of what you need to watch for, what you need to go look for and research more closely based on the players on your roster that I talk about. So here we go. Remembering, if anything major happens, I'll put it on the splash page of this video, so you'll see it right there. Otherwise, check the late-breaking updates section of the website. That will keep you up to speed. The staff rankings, go to the FSP staff rankings. Each individual player, it will link to the latest information available on that player at any given time. And also the rankings will probably reflect if there are any major developments that might affect them. So we'll start out with the bye week teams: Falcons, Cowboys, Chiefs, Jets. Get them out of your lineups. Don't want to play them. Well, there probably weren't any Jets there anyway, right? So, but Chiefs, yeah, there were Chiefs and Falcons for sure. So get those out of your lineups. We've got an interesting slate this week, kind of split a more even split between early afternoon games and late afternoon games. So that'll make it a little interesting, especially if you're red zone viewers like me. Keep things exciting in the late afternoon window. Early afternoon kickoffs. The big news: Christian McCaffrey is out again this week with a shoulder injury. It seems like it'll only be a 1 week thing, or not a long-term thing, right? And Reggie Bonifant, who they brought up from the practice squad to maybe provide a little depth behind Mike Davis, went back on the IR. So it's basically the Mike Davis show. Trenton Cannon is there, but he's a different kind of back. So it's a tough matchup for Davis, but those who are invested will get another week out of him. And again, McCaffrey got the second opinion. Matt Rule suggested they hope it's like that he can come back next week. It's not like a structural issue that needs surgery, they're saying. Kenny Golladay, the Detroit Lions hosting the Washington football team. Kenny Golladay out again this week with a hip injury. TJ Hawkinson listed as questionable. He did not practice Thursday, but came back to work on a limited basis Friday. So I'm guessing that's trending in a good direction. Look, it's a tough matchup. Washington, the football team is no joke on defense, right? So they'll need all the weapons they can get. Matthew Stafford will. Hard to run, tough coverage on wide receivers. So maybe Hawkins will be the answer. And by the way, the receivers: Marvin Jones Jr., Marvin Hall, Quintez Cephas, Danny Amendola. They'll all have tough individual matchups. On the other side of the ball, of course, Kyle Allen is out, done for the year. Alex Smith will return to the starting lineup. Dontrell Inman out as well. Dustin Hopkins is listed as questionable. We'll see if they make a roster move. That'll be something you watch. Better still, pivot away from it. He's questionable. He's not healthy. There are plenty of kickers out there. Might be time to stream. You don't need to stick with the football team kicker. Kerry Veddick would be the guy if it's not Hopkins anyway. Houston Texans at Cleveland. There's going to be weather there, so watch that. Look, I'm a weather agnostic. I don't not play good players in bad weather, but I'm not averse to playing marginal players in bad weather, right? So keep that in mind. So weather there, and also for the Green Bay-Jacksonville game. But more importantly, David Johnson is out this game with a concussion. That means Duke Johnson, revenge game on, right? It's a pretty good matchup. The Cleveland Browns are not great at stopping the receiving back, so Duke Johnson seems like a great play. David Johnson out. Other side of the ball, Nick Chubb is back, people. Activated earlier, just before I did this video on Saturday. Practiced all week, hadn't been on the injury report because he was on IR still officially. He is active and will play against a really generous defense, right? The Texans are not good at defense. Kareem Hunt's still in the mix too. Don't know how much Chubb will play, but reports from practice where he looked really good, practicing without a brace and etc. So, and also Austin Hooper back for this game as well. After his absence following the appendectomy, missed 2 games. He was really starting to pick up some momentum. Again, it's a good matchup, weather notwithstanding. New York Football Giants against the Philadelphia Eagles. Devonta Freeman ruled out, placed on IR. So it'll be the Wayne Gallman, Alfred Morris, Dion Lewis mix, Gallman being the leading weapon there. Golden Tate listed as questionable. All kinds of Golden Tate drama, right? He was left home from practice for a day because he was complaining about his workload, and then he hurt his knee on Thursday. Came back in practice Friday. My guess is he will play, but that's one to watch heading into kickoff. The Packers, as I mentioned, hosting Jacksonville. Weather might be an issue. Remember last time there was weather in Green Bay? This illustrates my point. Devontae Adams scored 3 touchdowns, right? So don't sit great players in, unless it's super bad weather. Anyway, I'm belaboring this, right? Alan Lazard could return. Watch the late-breaking update section today. They have to activate him off IR by 4 p.m. Eastern time. I do this a couple hours before then, so if he is not activated, obviously won't play. Equinemius St. Brown listed as questionable. Robert Tunyon listed as questionable. The issue with Lazard is he's been practicing. He's still dealing with some soreness coming off the core muscle surgery, kind of a hernia issue. So that'll be one to watch. If he's back, I mean, I think he's a viable play. It's a great matchup for everyone playing against Jacksonville's defense, right? So watch that. Not a bad matchup for James Robinson either on the other side. They seem to give him the ball no matter how far down behind they are in the Packers. Pretty susceptible running backs. Also, DJ Chark was on the injury report a little bit with illness earlier this week. He has been removed from that list. Laviska Shenault, however, has been ruled out. So maybe Keelan Cole gets a little more run, etc. Gardner Minshew out again as well, so Jake Luton will make the start. That's it for the early afternoon window. The late afternoon window, Joe Mixon listed as doubtful. Didn't practice all week. Don't expect him to play, people, against the Pittsburgh Steelers in Pittsburgh. Looks like Giovanni Bernard. Workload's been nice, right? He's been scoring some touchdowns. Doesn't seem like the worst play. John Ross ruled out with a foot injury. Has not been a factor either way. So no big deal. On the other side of the ball, Ben Roethlisberger is fine. He was cleared off the COVID reserve list, activated, removed from it early Saturday. So he's good to go. He had to isolate, had a close contact. Vance McDonald will not play. He is on the COVID list, tested positive. So everyone else is good. Jalen Samuels lifted up off the list as well. But the big news is Roethlisberger will play in this game. Great matchup, right? Anthony McFarland came down with an illness, apparently non-COVID related because they haven't added him to the list as of today. But that was Friday. So he's listed as questionable. Don't know if anyone's digging down that far into the Steelers depth chart. But if you are, that's something to watch. Everyone else is off the injury report. Juju Smith-Schuster practiced fully towards the end of the week. Seattle at the Los Angeles Rams. Chris Carson, we know the drill, right? Chris Carson, questionable with the foot injury. Carlos Hyde, questionable with the hamstring. Pete Carroll has suggested that Carson is further ahead. We're going to run him. If they ran him some in practice yesterday, thought he looked good. They'll run him more today, run him in pregame. It's going to be a late decision. Hyde, I don't have a great deal of faith in either of these guys making it. But anyhow, so DJ Dallas will be the guy if Carson and Hyde are out again. Travis Homer in the mix as well, so watch that. Freddie Swain, the wide receiver, are also questionable with a foot injury, so watch that. But Carson and Hyde, game time decisions both. It's a tough call on them, right? You're going to have fallback options, but there are a lot of games, so maybe you will. San Francisco 49ers at the New Orleans Saints. And by the way, for the Rams, everyone came off the injury report. Darrell Henderson had the thigh issue, and Cooper Kupp was beat up, both fine. Good to go. For the San Francisco 49ers at New Orleans, no Tevin Coleman, no Deebo Samuel. Trent Taylor is questionable. Brandon Ayuk comes back off the COVID list. Kendrick Bourne is eligible and will play in this game. Richie James coming off a great game. Those seem like your top three guys, Brandon Ayuk, Bourne, and Richie James. And maybe James has earned a bigger role. On the other side of the ball, everyone off the injury report. That means Drew Brees, Michael Thomas, etc. All good to go. Brees was limited, in practice pretty much all week, but still removed from the injury report. Denver Broncos at Las Vegas. Jerry Jeudy listed as questionable with a shoulder injury. Seems likely to play. Vic Fangio said as much, but that'll be one to watch going up. He'll be playing his former Alabama teammate, Henry Ruggs III, so he has a little motivation to get on the field. In addition, Tim Patrick off the injury report. Noah Fant, ankle. Patrick was a hamstring he's been dealing with for a while. Played through it last week. Noah Fant, ankle injury. Both of them off the injury report and good to go. For the Chargers at Miami, Justin Jackson is listed has been ruled out with a knee injury. That leaves us with three guys. Troymaine Pope is listed as questionable this week, so that'll be one to watch. If he's available, it'll be a three-way split. Joshua Kelly, we saw Kalen Ballage come out of nowhere last week, and Pope, who looked good 2 weeks ago. So, man, taking your chances with any of these guys in this game. On the other side of the ball, Matt Breida is questionable. He's expected to be the starter with Myles Gaskin out on IR, but he missed last week with a hamstring. Still dealing with the same hamstring, was limited all week. The cast of characters behind him, including Jordan Howard, Salvon Ahmed, Patrick Laird, will be joined by DeAndre Washington this week. So, man, situation best avoided if you can. If you can't, you might want to play it right up to the last minute and check that the inactive report. That's going to be telling. Also, Durham Smythe, the tight end, listed as questionable as well with a concussion. Preston Williams out of this game with a foot injury. He is on IR, out at least 3 weeks, so watch that. Jakeem Grant is next man up. Maybe Mac Hollins gets some run. Antonio Callaway, who's been suspended, is likely activated this week or could be activated. Watch that Saturday. Talked to Clay Ferraro from ABC TV in Miami, and he thinks he's a very talented guy and could have an impact if he's activated and plays this week. So that's one to watch. The Arizona Cardinals hosting the Buffalo Bills. Kenyon Drake, better than we thought, right? Remember last week they said, well, the injury isn't as bad as we thought. This week he's worked on a limited basis all week. Seems like he's possible to play. Listed as questionable. That'll be the one to watch. Chase Edmonds standing by to pick up whatever workload. If Drake is active, it's hard to know what the split will be, right? Maybe they go easy on Drake. Maybe he's a decoy. I mean, it creates a lot of confusion. If there is no Drake, I think Edmonds is a fine play. Max Williams, the tight end, also listed as questionable in this game with an ankle injury. On the other side of the ball, everyone's healthy and good to go. John Brown off the injury report. Sunday night's game gets a little tricky here for the Patriots. Damian Harris listed as questionable. N'Keal Harry listed as questionable. Ryan Izzo listed as questionable. Nick Folk listed as questionable. The kicker, he kicked through his issue last week. Harris was hurt in the game last week. Has been able to practice. Looked like a really big hit. Seemed like a concern. So Sony Michel, that's the thing to watch here today by 4 p.m. Eastern time. He can be activated. He's in the window to be activated off IR and has been practicing. So that may be telling. With Harry, it's hard to say. Coming off the concussion, hasn't played since he suffered it 2 weeks ago. And hasn't done a lot of practice. He's been limited all week. And Jacoby Myers has kind of moved in to be that top receiving threat. Has a great connection with Cam Newton. On the other side of the ball, Mark Ingram. It's the New England against Baltimore, if I didn't mention it, at New England. So Mark Ingram returned to practice this week after missing a couple weeks with the ankle injury. Practice Wednesday, then sat down Thursday, then came back and worked Friday, and then got the questionable designation. Sounds like he'll be in the mix. If so, it's back to a three-man rotation with Ingram, J.K. Dobbins, and Gus Edwards all in the mix. And also Lamar Jackson is in that mix too, right? I mean, it's really a four-man rotation no matter what. So we have that. Monday night's game, the guys to watch. David Montgomery has yet to practice this week. We'll get injury designations later Saturday. Watch for those. He has the concussion. Allen Robinson been limited by a knee. Can't imagine him missing this game, even if he gets the questionable designation. Montgomery's the one to watch, though. And remember the last time the Bears had a concussion issue, they initially listed Allen Robinson as doubtful, and then when he passed the final test, they upgraded him to remove him from the injury report. So it's interesting with Montgomery. Matt Nagy's giving up the play calling to Bill Lazor, the offensive coordinator this week. We'll see if that makes a difference. On the other side of the ball, Irv Smith Jr. dealing with a groin injury. We'll see how that plays out. He's kind of been coming on the last couple of weeks, and the fullback C.J. Ham has been dealing with a shoulder injury. Seems like he's more likely to play. We'll find out about Smith again. On all these players, everyone I mentioned, will watch the injury updates. The COVID issues seem minimal. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers added a couple guys to their list today, including receiver Jaden Mickens. So maybe that's a game to watch. I don't think both teams have not had byes, so they could move that game out to like week 13 if I'm not mistaken. But either way. So weather issues in Cleveland and Green Bay. Nothing that keeps me from playing anybody, but worth watching. Or if you're in close contests, the bye week teams again. The Falcons, Cowboys, Chiefs, and Jets. Get them out of your lineups. And hit the website. Check the late-breaking updates section. Check the staff rankings. Get all the latest information based on what I've told you here. We'll have more stuff tonight. The John Lobb's cash game lineup video will be tonight. If you missed out on Wednesday's DFS lineup video with Kyle Dvorak and Jason Brady, check that out. We have the Football Diehards podcast up. And tons of great content up from all our contributors, including Brad Cruz, one of the great high-stakes players. His Sunday sit start will be available. John Lobb's DraftKings sheet of knowledge is available. The Scholar has been working. Gary Davenport's The Shadow Knows, my DFS 3 and out. Justin Linero's digging in the crates. Kyle Dvorak's columns. And we have, we have some great content early in the week. Hit us on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday for free agent pickup information from Kyle Dvorak, from Evan Tarchiano, from Matthew Sharon. So there you have it. I'm Bob Harris, over and out for today. Good luck. Win some games.